What's up Trophy Hunter, welcome to my Platinum walkthrough for the Stanley Parable. This is a pretty weird but fun walking simulator. You can get all the trophies except one within 1.5 hours. Unfortunately the other trophy requires 24 hours, but you don't actually have to play the game. The trophy requires to play an entire Tuesday. So you need to change your date to any Tuesday and then let the game idle for 24 hours. The 24 hours is cumulative, so you can do it on multiple Tuesdays. Keep in mind before you start the game there's already a very important choice. So once you're ready, start the game. So select your preferred language and then you will get asked if you already have played the game. Be sure to select yes, this allows us to get access to the bonus content quicker. Now you have to go through a few more options, but it doesn't really matter what you do, so just keep smashing the X button. Now select begin the game. Skip the intro with the X button and then quit back to the main menu. Now close the game and go to your console settings. Scroll down to System, select Date and Time and change the date 10 years ahead. Select OK and then start the game again. After starting the game you have to go through a few more options, but you don't really need to change anything, so simply keep pressing the X button to get back to the game. Now start the game again and you will unlock the first 3 trophies. The first one will be welcome back, quit the game and then start it again. Second one is called get your first trophy. And the third trophy is called super go outside, don't play the game for 10 years. So once you unlocked all 3 trophies, close the game and start it again. We need to do this a few more times, this is a preparation for a specific trophy we need later. There will be some more sliders, but simply ignore it, simply press the X button till you're back at the main menu. Now again, close the game and start it again and click through the new dialog. And now only one more time, close the game and start the game again. So now we are ready to actually play the game. So once you're back at the main menu, select begin the game. So once you gain control of a character, turn around and press the X button a few times to unlock the trophy You Can't Jump. Now go straight and click on the second door to your right a few times. The narrator will tell you something about a trophy. After that, simply follow the instruction. You have to click the door later 20 times and then 50 times. Just follow the instruction of the narrator.
Is that all you think a trophy is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now, suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition. I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly. 50 clicks. No. I'm still not feeling it. I want this trophy to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment.
Next step is you need to click on the door 417 20 times. The door is not far away from here. Now go back to the door 437. Next door you need to click on it is 415. Once done, back to 437. Now click once on the copy machine.
No. The copy copy machine. All right.
Now go back to door 417.
Now I think we're getting somewhere.
Next step is we need to climb on a desk with the number 419. It's right in this room, go right and climb up the desk. Step on the small box, then on the chair and then on the desk.
This is great. You're putting it all on the line, Stanley.
Once done, back to the door
Just
416.
give me a few clicks on door 416. We've almost got it.
Click a few times, then go back to the copy machine.
Finish it off, Stanley. 5 clicks.
And now make 5 clicks on door 430 and the trophy is yours. So now turn left and follow the way till you reach 2 doors.
Amazing. Oh, you really earned it, Stanley. Nothing could hold you back. Yes, I'm very proud of how far we've come today.
So now it's very important that you go through the left door.
He came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door and
Now follow the way, eventually you will reach a blue office, go through it.
yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling away,
Keep following the way and go
Stanley
upstairs.
decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
So now go right and now go left into the boss office. Now go towards to the keypad and enter 2 times 8,888 to unlock a trophy.
Human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was the keypad behind
So now keep listening to the narrator and he will tell you the code, which is basically 2, 8, 4 and
So the boss
5.
had assigned it an extra secret pin number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Now turn around and you will see a new opening. Go through it and then step on the elevator.
He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
So go down.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar.
The next part is also very straightforward. Leave the elevator and follow the path into the mind control facility.
Nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Now press the button in front of you.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have to
Now go to the next platform and click the second button, which can be found to your left.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley...
Now head to the next platform, there is another button to your left, click on it and then enter the elevator.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Go down the stairs and enter the facility power.
Controls labeled with emotions. Happy,
At the end you can find two buttons. It's very important that you press off. This will unlock the true ending, and after completing the game we will unlock another trophy.
Decided that this machinery blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet,
Now simply wait till you can get outside to finish the game.
Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
So now you will start back at your office. So now we need to play through the game again. The playthrough is almost identical. So first go straight to the boss office, and once you reach the boss office immediately enter the code 2, 8, 4 and 5.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Very important, go left here.
Set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
So enter the office and immediately enter the code 2, 8, 4 and 5. Entering the code immediately will unlock a new dialogue. From now on simply follow the same route as previous. The only difference is at the end, at the two buttons, you have to press on instead of off.
Didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked into an open passageway. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them. It totally happened in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this.
So this is the last part of this playthrough. Be sure that you press the on button.
Stanley decided that this machinery would never again After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you want? Stanley, I help hold your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. to see you made humble. This is not a challenge, it's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we finish until the moment I say,
So now you will start again in the office. Now we need to prepare a few things for the speedrun. So once you gain control of a character, go back to the boss office. Along the way you should also see a door which says new content. This means you have done everything correctly. Here you can see the door new content. Don't enter it yet, we need this later. So go to the boss office, go left here.
set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his coming to a staircase. Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
So if you enter the boss office now, the secret door should open immediately, without entering the code. This is very important later for the speedrun. So once the door is open, enter the elevator.
Surprise.
Go down, and once you're down, press the option button and select begin a new game. So now it's time for the speedrun trophy. The speedrun trophy requires to get the true ending in 4 minutes and 22 seconds. There are two ways to beat this. The first method is you begin the game again till you start in the office with a blue light. This is totally random and can happen in 2 minutes or also in 20 to 30 minutes. So the first method is you press the option button, select begin the game again, and hope you spawn in the office with the blue light. But there is also a second method. Keep in mind the time is very tight, so no mistakes are allowed. On my first account I could bring up the blue office within a few minutes, but on my second account I couldn't get it after 20 minutes. So I will show you now the speedrun trophy with your normal spawn. If you're able to spawn in the blue office, it's definitely easier, but it's also possible this way. So once the game starts in your office, immediately make your way to the boss office.
And Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
Take the left door, go upstairs.
Open doors, he entered the door on his left.
On the blue room, go left and immediately right to save a bit of time.
Either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his coming to a staircase. Stanley walked
If the previous steps done correctly, the secret door should now already open. So now comes the fun part. There is a trick which will save us a few seconds. Once you press the button in front of you, immediately climb up the desk and jump down to the platform to save a few seconds. And believe me, with the normal spawn you need these seconds.
television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold?
From now on you can play everything normal. This is the only trick which will save a few seconds. If you do this trick correctly, you should end up with 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Basically you can also climb up this desk and do the same thing as previous. It's definitely a lot trickier to get to the platform, but no worries, it's not really necessary. Well, of course the speedrun trophy requires probably a few tries. If you can't get it right now, you can also skip this part of the game and try it later, or hope for a spawn in the blue office, because we need to restart the game a few more times.
It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He his own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? It was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley discovered... blackness, and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
So guys, I hope you were able to unlock the speedrun trophy. So after completing the game, you will be back at your office. Now it's time to unlock the trophy Test Achievement, please. This is the trophy which requires the most time. So first enter the bonus content.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Follow the path and enter the elevator. Well, most of this part is very straightforward. Basically just follow the narrator instructions.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure. Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, here we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it. I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
This part in the game can be skipped, you don't have to jump here, just ignore it and keep following the path. From now on everything is self-explanatory and straightforward, you can't do anything wrong. Just follow the instructions and I will be back with some more commentary later.
Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And then, oh wait, there's more. Very good. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is. That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's trophies, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test trophy, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks, just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend? Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something. Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was? And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now, a lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content. Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games, and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. All they had to do was transport it in pristine condition along to the PlayStation, boom, done. And they couldn't even do that. Couldn't resist the urge to go meddling with a beloved franchise. These were simpler times, Stanley. What I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the Memory Zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no, oh God, no, Stanley. It's a collection of reviews from Pressurized Gas, the extremely popular online storefront for computer games. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews are showing is well worth it. Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick. Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley, I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I guess it was. But maybe it wasn't. Yeah. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews. I do anything for the customers. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that... Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of Well, there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes. Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. 2 weeks. Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had... But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their... The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
So guys, I hope you enjoyed your journey. Now you should be back at your main office. Now you need to enter the bonus content again. Once you enter the bonus content, simply follow the narrator's instructions till you reach the expo hall.
His co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you. You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2. Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful...
So guys, we made it. Now we're in the expo hall. First thing, go through the opening in front of you. Once you go through the opening to your right, you should see New Easy Trophy. So first head to the free trophy room.
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test trophy that got left in the...
Now in front of you there is a machine. Interact with the lever once. After that, go back and enter the collectible room.
This is technology that will exist. Right now, the trophy is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, what else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet? Collectibles.
Keep going straight here. After some dialogue you are able to pick up your first collectible.
Run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
So now you can leave this place, go downstairs and through the opening in front of you.
When you collect everything in a video game, and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely. Calling it the Stanley Parable 2.
Now look left, you can see a big bucket. Go up the stairs, enter the room, and after some dialogue you are able to pick up a bucket.
But the Stanley Parable 2, now that the common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a
So now it's time to leave this place.
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Go downstairs, right through the opening, and then left.
Most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Just follow the exit sign, and after some dialogue you will end up in the main menu, but this time it will be a little bit different.
All right, have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now? So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2. I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on, let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go, version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
So now it's time to hunt down the other collectibles. So first, start a new game.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
So once the game starts, make your way towards to the two doors. But this time go right instead of left.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Stanley felt the bucket calling to him, begging him to pick it up. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting.
Follow the path and eventually you will reach the warehouse.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following the
Now go up the plank in front of you and jump down to your left. At the end of these planks you can find collectible number 2.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Now press the option button and select begin the game again. So now follow the same route and go back to the warehouse.
Gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Maybe Stanley would never pick up the bucket. A lonely bucket. Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions.
First step on the yellow lift here. Wait till he goes up and after that jump onto the catwalk to your right.
On the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. Really?
Go through some more doors and once you reach a room with a blue and a red door, go right to find collectible number 3.
Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove. Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
So now press the option button and select begin the game again. So as you can see, now I had the luck to start in the blue office. Like I said before, this is totally random and you probably will start in your main office. If you start here, the speedrun trophy is a lot easier. So if you haven't the speedrun trophy yet, keep in mind if you start here, it's a lot easier. So make your way outside of this office and this time, once you reach the 2 doors, go left.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Now go downstairs and under the staircase you can find collectible number 4.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
So from here make your way back upstairs. So from here go left and enter the bathroom. I accidentally go right, so go left please and enter the bathroom to find collectible number 5.
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler Anlerines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them, and now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler Anlerines. None of us can.
Now enter the boss office, enter the code 2845 to open the secret door.
Staring into the manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly
Go through the opening, collectible number 6 can be found on the right side of the elevator.
last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
So now press the option button and select begin the game again. Now walk forward through the first door to trigger a new scene. In the next part of the game you basically need to recollect all the collectibles, but in a different way. It's a part of the game which is very straightforward and self-explanatory, so no commentary is really necessary because you can't do anything wrong. Just follow the narrator's instructions. I will be back with some more commentary later.
In a richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more to revisit the figurines. Just one more time. Here's where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley. And here was a second Stanley. You found this one all on your own, just by poking around in the warehouse. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest. Back then, I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways. Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini stand? Can you remember? Hey, that's exactly right. It was here by the red and blue doors. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything. Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened. This was a Figley stand, and this one was really something special. It was in the boss's bathroom. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy. Takes you back, doesn't it? I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else. And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like. And then there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, memory zone. No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels. Okay, yes, the back of the boss's office. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going, I want more. And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched? Yes, I love that video. Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room. These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one. This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this? Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a road... Oh, yes! The two doors! Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one. And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember. Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way I stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions, he would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
So guys, I'm back, and yes, I know the previous section of the game was a bit annoying. However, once you're back at your main office, press the option button and quit the game. If everything done correctly, you should see now epilogue in the main menu. So once you're back at the main menu, select epilogue. So for the first few minutes you don't have to do anything. Just stand here and wait for the places to change. So this is the place where we actually need to play the game. Go towards to this big frame. Now go through the door and simply follow the cable on the ground. This will lead you to another bunch of collectibles. Now pick up all the remaining collectibles and then enter the tunnel in front of you. Now go towards to the desk and interact with the computer. Now be careful because there is one important choice here. Do not skip through the dialogue too quick. So this part is not really important, just give the game any name you want and then confirm it. But be careful on your next choice. So now it's very important that you select Let's Do It. If you don't select Let's Do It, you don't have access to the bonus content and you have to play through the epilogue again. So select Let's Do It. Time doesn't really matter, so let the time to 12 and select Confirm. So back at the main menu, select Begin the Game. Now basically you need to make your way back to the expo hall, to the trophy room, because now we can unlock the trophy.
Gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had
Well, it's possible that you need to pick up the bucket this time, that you can proceed. So turn around, pick up the bucket, go through the door and enter the bonus content. If the bonus content isn't there for you, you need to replay the epilogue again because you have done something wrong.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2. Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
So now simply interact with the machine to unlock the test trophy. After that you should only have 2 trophies left.
Technology to simply give you the trophy. Yes, see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the trophy will be... As you can see, the machine is not working yet since... Wait.
So now press the option button and go to settings. To unlock the next trophy you have to go through every single slider and option within the settings and go through every single number. I moved every slider to the minimum and then clicked through it to maximum. Keep in mind, if you hold down the D-pad it will begin to skip numbers. So keep clicking the D-pad or hold it till a few numbers have passed. Also keep in mind some sliders are hidden behind certain options. And yes, you also need to do the audio sliders.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. This is the story of a man named Stanley. This is the story of a man named Stanley. This
So this is the last slider. After that you should unlock Settings World Champion. Now you should only have one trophy left, which is called Commitment. You need to play the game for the entire duration of a Tuesday. Like I said before, to get this be sure that you set your internet connection offline, because it can change your date automatically. So go to settings, change your date to a Tuesday and let the game idle for 24 hours. Keep in mind, like I said before, the trophy tracks cumulative across all the hours you have played on Tuesdays. And after that, the platinum is yours. So guys, I hope you found this video useful. Thanks for the attention. See you in my next one.